Welcome back to the Vernon Turner Show. It's your host, Wayne Turner. And I got a very, very special guest on the show. I know I've always said I had special guests, but this guest is very, very special to me. I was very fortunate to have him around during my career at Kentucky. He's a former Kentucky basketball player, UK Hall of Famer, played on one of the greatest teams ever at Kentucky. And I say ever because it's just not about winning the championship. It's about, creating a culture. And this guy was on one of the teams that definitely brought Kentucky back to life and made it a competitive tradition university again. I like to call him one of my OG big brothers because, this guy right here, I mean, he just basically showed me the ropes and people didn't even know it. So I had to get him on the show. But before I introduce him, make sure you like and subscribe at the Vernon Turner Show and subscribe to the Field of 68 Media Network group. And you can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on Instagram, live videos. But now let me introduce my brother, my big brother, my OG brother, Mr. Sean Woods. He's now the head coach of Southern University. Like I said before, UK Hall of Famer. Hey, I basically try to pad my game after this guy after watching some highlight videos. So once again, my big bro, Sean Woods, man, I appreciate you coming in, bro. This is like an honor to me.
Hey, you took that floater and just took it to another level, big dog. And the stretch out finger roll off the glass, you know what I'm saying? Well, can't nobody get it. They don't think you even go get it there, you know?
Exactly. Right. Why is it that? Because we point guards, we little, that we can't go up top. I seen you go up top and get you a couple.
Man,
a couple putbacks and some bangs. I was like, oh, he can dunk. He can dunk. Okay.
Every few nights I had to go up against the great Shaquille O'Neal, so I had to get a little pat and a little high off the glass deal, or he was just throwing that thing out of there, you know?
Right. Hey, that was that LSU team. We're gonna get into it, but man, when I got to UK, the first thing that they said was, "You're like Sean Woods. This is like a Sean Woods type of." Guard. We were similar in a lot of ways. And I'm saying to myself, who's Sean Woods? Now I realized you was a class ahead of me, but I was like, I should know who this guy is. He played at Kentucky. But you went through a state where, y'all had to sit out from the tournament for a little while. And that's something I learned when I got to Kentucky. I didn't realize that. I think you probably played in the tournament for what, maybe 2 years, 1 year?
No, I only got to play in the tournament 1 year. My freshman year, I had to sit out, and that was the worst from a record standpoint. It's the only losing season in Kentucky basketball history. And that was during the probation area, the investigation, things like that. And that class that came in with me, man, Chris Mills, Sean Kemp, people don't forget about Eric Manuel, who was in the class before, and Rex Chapman was there. You know what I mean? What UNLV became, that's what we should have been during that time from 86 to 92, at least 86 to 90, because of all those guys would have stayed and we wouldn't have gone on probation. Just think Sean Kemp wearing a big blue. Think of him and, man, Rex Chapman flying around.
I heard stories
people remember.
I heard stories about Sean Kemp, and I thought people were lying.
Wayne, I played high school with him. He was my AAU teammate. We played AAU ever since we was 8th grade. And, man, he never missed a bad pass. You could throw it anywhere and he go get it. He make any guard look. Gary Payton received the benefits of playing with Sean Kemp because he's so easy to play with. I mean, he was a trend. Just think we just had that. Ooh, with plus what was already there, like Reggie Hansen, John Pelfrey, Darren Feldhouse, Richie Farmer. Them dudes was there. Jeff Brasso. That was just, you know what I'm saying? But the upper, and then you got that. Oh my gosh. Mm.
Wow. Wow. So Reggie did play with you.
Yeah, Reggie was my roommate. Reggie just a year old, 2 years older than me, but he redshirted 1 year. He's had to sit out too. So Reg, yeah. And I'm telling you right now, Wayne, pound for pound, Reggie Hanson, pound for pound now. And I'm talking about 6'8", 205 at best, soaking wet with bricks in his pocket. One of the most versatile, got it done dudes I've ever played with.
Wow. Yeah, no, I seen the highlights.
Were you with Boston? Would the coach have Reggie with you when you was with Boston too? Was Reggie on that team? Did Reggie come to camp with y'all?
He was there the year before, so I actually visited when he was there. So I know, I saw when he was on the squad.
Man, and you talking about one of the most underrated guys, man. Reg was, I mean, we don't have 14 and 14. We don't win the SEC the next year without Reg. Reg could, I mean, you talking about dude got to go against Shaq and will hold his own. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Reg was good. Reg was really good.
So now you at Kentucky and all that, all the mess happens, and obviously Pitino didn't recruit you. You were recruited by Sutton.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens and you decided to stay. In a lot of situations like that, players leave, but you stayed. So my question was like, I can only imagine how you felt at the time, but what were you thinking when you heard, or did you hear that Rick Pitino was taking a job, and how much did you know about him?
Well, first of all, when the hammer came down and before, and like I called my mother and I said, Ma, I said, can you start calling, some of the schools that were recruiting me before, because ain't nothing going on here. We ain't gonna get to play on everything that you go to Kentucky for. And you gotta remember now, the whole side of my mom's family is from Lexington. So I'm kin to everybody in Lexington, Kentucky. Okay. So that's what my roots are on my mom's side.
That's why you felt so comfortable. You look very comfortable there.
Yeah, that was home, Wayne. That's talking about, that's me there every summer. I know everybody over in the West End, everybody in the East End, because most of them I'm kin to. But and the reason why I went to Kentucky is because my grandmother used to travel to Indianapolis every Friday and Saturday night to watch me play high school. And I was very familiar with Kentucky coming down in the summertime and things. But when that hammer came down, I called my mom and I told her, I said, can you start calling some of the schools that were recruiting me? She said, no. And I was like, what you talking about? No. She said, no. She goes, you gonna stay there? I said, hold on. So I said, well, can we just wait and see, who the coach gonna be? She said, okay. I already had my mindset, Wayne. I was out. So you remember Marta, Miss Marta? You know Marta?
Yeah.
All right, I'm coming to the office, and Marta sits me down. Marta McMacken is the person who convinced me to stay at the University of Kentucky.
Wow, I could see that.
And she told me all the reasons. We talked for about over an hour. And she said, Sean, give this guy a chance. Now, you got to remember now, PJ Carlesimo came through, didn't take it. Lou Holtz came through, didn't take it. A couple other high-profile guys came through, didn't take it. Sim Newton was like, if I don't get this next guy, I'm going to coach you guys myself, because he was the AD at the time. So Marta was like, we're going to get this guy. I was like, who's this guy? She goes, Rick Pitino. And she goes, Sean, you're going to love him. He suits your style of play. And I'm like, okay. And I watched his teams at Providence, they shot a bunch, you know what I'm saying? He let Billy go. And I was like, yeah, and they played it up-tempo style. I was like, shit, that'd be fun to play with, so Sim Newton came in and he called me in his office. He told me that he got coached. So I was like, cool, you know what I'm saying? I called my mom, I was like, don't even worry about it. I'm gonna stay. So that's what made me stay. And the first encounter I had with Coach was I was playing in the Olympic Festival, and it was out at University of Oklahoma in Norman. And me and Ken, I had a great game. Me and Kenny Anderson just went at it like two goons. And him and Herb Sendak were at the game. And he met me after the game and told me good game, blah, 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 blah. And the one thing I'll never forget, he asked me, he said, "Can you run 2 miles in 12 minutes?" We didn't talk about basketball. We didn't talk about none of that. The first thing he asked me was, "Can you run 2 miles in 12 minutes, man?" So me, being me, confident, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say no to, like I can't do it. So I said something slick like, "Well, did Billy Donovan do it?" I said, "Could Billy Donovan do it?" He said, "Yeah, he can do it." I said, "Well, shit, I can do it." Just like that. And I don't know how he took it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, me as a coach now, I know how I would take it if I asked a kid that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I guess at that time he already knew what he was getting. Like, I can do anything that anybody you ever coach can do. I mean, if it's possible, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and say I can't. So that was my first encounter with Coach.
Wow, that's good.
That was my first encounter with Coach, man.
You had to like actually play for him because he was.
And he went at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can get me. I would, he can get me, but he couldn't break me. You know what I'm saying? But he could get me though. He can, Coach is a mastermind. You know what I'm saying? Like how he did, how he played you and Epps was like magical. He kept both of y'all mad. You understand what I'm saying? You the new guy. Epps done been there. So now that made Epps step up. Okay, you chasing, knowing that, okay, physically, I can do some things that he can't do. You know what I'm saying? So now he got you too. So now he ain't got to yell, scream, or do none of that to get you to play hard. And that's one of the gifts that he has. He told me, "Don't shoot." Well, don't shoot. You mean I'm going to sit here and play 35 minutes a game and not try to shoot basketball? Nah. So what he would do was, I wasn't a great shooter, but I would get you 10 or 15, just get layups. I'm so mad that he's telling me this, that I'm going to hawk the ball because I'm mad. You know what I'm saying? And he used all that psychological stuff to his advantage and got where he needed to get out of us. And most of his point guards, especially us, I don't think Travis played mad, but we all had a chip because we was scrapping all the time. You know what I'm saying? To prove our worth, and it ain't coming to us like it used to. We ain't getting the praise that we used to. Other guys is getting it. You know what I'm saying? But you the one who delivering it. You know what I'm saying? So he knew how to do that and keep you doing it, and do it at a high level, to where you gonna compete against the other guy. You so mad that you gonna try to destroy him just from a physical defensive standpoint. Well, okay, you win the point guard battle, you doing that. Now you coming back at him. Can't nobody stop you one-on-one. You're getting your shoulders through. You're getting to the guy. Instead of you finishing, you done kicked it off, because when you used to getting to that point and shooting it all the time, but it was working. And that's what makes him who he is.
Right. No, he definitely get it all out of you. He's gonna find a way to get it out of you. And when it come out of you, hey, it feels good.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the reward is big time now.
Exactly. Exactly. It ain't good. It ain't fun going through it. That's for sure.
No, sir.
But at the
Wayne,
end,
you're talking about doing 85 and 2 with 8 guys.
Oh,
We
God.
had 8 scholarship players.
Wow.
Doing 85 and 2 with 8 guys.
Don't tell me that. Wow. Y'all was some gladiators. Y'all weren't the Warriors. Y'all was gladiators.
Man, we was wearing them heavy old cons, man. You sweated them real good. They swell up on you. They heavy. And we got to be pushing it around it. Man.
Oh, man. The good old days. They don't know what that grit is about.
Boy, if the walls of Memorial Coliseum could talk, boy.
I'm telling you, wow. Man, I don't miss bricks and saves. I'm gonna tell you that.
No, sir. No, sir.
Do not. We'll get back to the show in a minute, but first, let me tell you about our partners over at DraftKings Sportsbook. With March Madness beating down our door, DraftKings is the best way you can get a little action in on the game. If you have not downloaded the DraftKings Sports app yet, what are you waiting for? It's the safest, it's the most secure, it's the reliable, and it allows you to safely deposit and withdraw your money at your own convenience. And this week, they are offering my listeners a pretty sweet deal. If you sign up now with the promo code FIELD68, you can turn $1 into $100 if one of the main event fighters in UFC 259 this weekend lands a single punch. That's it. And don't worry, if MMA isn't your thing, DraftKings Sportsbook offers odds and promos on basketball, hockey, or whatever sport you are watching. But since they're basically giving away $100, you might as well sign up now, watch a little UFC, and remember to use promo code FIELD68. That's FIELD68. Must be 21 years or older. Offer available for a limited time only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Your team was, named the Unforgettables. And, I learned that when I got to Kentucky. And, the crazy thing is I didn't follow Kentucky a whole lot, but they always mention this guy by the name of Jamal Mashburn. And my cousin was a big, big fan. And so I started to watch Kentucky. I think he was on that team we all lost at the buzzer, right?
Yeah.
And that's, that game right there is the game, it was all across ESPN, it was all over the place because everybody thought y'all had won. Obviously, the game that, pretty much haunts y'all, I could only believe for the rest of y'all life, but it was dubbed the greatest game ever. And I truly believe, because I watched it for the first time, a few years ago, and I was like, wow, this was a great game because it looked like Kentucky was going to win.
Yeah.
But, I've always said y'all are one of the greatest teams, even though y'all didn't make it, y'all didn't win the championship and y'all didn't make it to the Final Four, because y'all exceeded the expectations of any, Kentucky basketball fans, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But, you just didn't make it past that one little hurdle. Would you agree with that? Would you agree that you do go down in history? Because there's some talks, that, there's whispers anyway. But would you say that's fair to call y'all one of the greatest teams from Kentucky, even though y'all didn't win the championship?
Well, Dwayne, it's like this, every great program has an era. You have a start of an era, then you have a finish of an era. Then you go through a little time, you have a start of a new era, you have a finish of an era. Well, with us, outside looking in, when you're going through it, you don't think about it because you still don't feel that you're worthy. You was just doing something that you were supposed to do, that you love doing, and hell, Coach drove us to that point too, which was good. You know what I'm saying? But where Kentucky is now, that was the start. We made Kentucky sexy, and a lot of people don't remember, the Eddie Sutton era, with Kenny Skywalker, and a lot of people don't remember the Joe B. Hall era with the Twin Towers of Sam Bowie and Melvin Turpin and Dirk Minifield and Jack Givens and James Lee and Rick Roby, Mike Phillips, and Kyle Macy, You know, it's always eras. And this one, ours has lasted because now Kentucky is that again. You know what I'm saying? It's a brand again. It's a, you know, you can go all over. Like you were saying, you didn't know too much about Kentucky, but I guarantee you everybody in your area now knows about Kentucky. You know, so to say that we were in the forefront of doing that over one game that we lost, you know, that was that game supersedes anything that we ever done, and we won the league the year before. And because we couldn't go, you know, we were on probation, we couldn't go to the tournament or receive it officially, but we had won it that year. And with Reggie Hanson, you know, and that was the one guy that was missing on this team because he's got a part to play in it too, even though he wasn't with us that last year. Derek Miller has a part to play in it because he was our leading scorer on Coach's first team. You know, so now that team was called Patino's Bambinos, and he was the head honcho.
I remember that.
You know, so, you know, it started that first year when we went 14-14 with those guys and Derek Miller, and then the next year was Reggie Hanson, and then Jamal grew up, and we were older, and as seniors, you know what I'm saying, we were seasoned vets. So, you know what I mean? And so everything became easy to us. We knew how to rotate, even though John and those guys weren't very athletic. They were great anticipators. And they had big kahunas. I mean, they weren't scared. And, you know, we'll shoot 17 threes and go 1 for 17 in the first half and turn around and go, you know what I mean, 9 for 16 in the second half. You know, and once MASH got comfortable as the guy, that's when we, you know what I'm saying? That's when we took off. You know, and you know, because he was surrounded by older guys, but we was like, shit, you know what I mean? We got to ride you, you know what I mean? And he grew up probably after the Arkansas game. After we got beat by Arkansas, y'all there? After we got beat by Arkansas at home, Todd Day, Lee Mayberry, and all those guys, MASH didn't miss a beat after that. SEC tournament, when he only missed 3 shots. No, 2 shots. He missed 2 shots, only missed 2 shots in the SEC tournament. Yeah.
Wow.
You know, and
so
then everybody was just
all 5 positions, they said.
Huh?
But they say he played all 5 positions.
Well, after I left, he did. After I left, he did. Yeah. After I left, he was that last year, his junior year, he played everything. And he was that guy because he didn't have to do all that with us. We just got him to his spots. But that next year, they got bigger. You know, they got Rodney Dent, Jared Prickett,
Rob Rose.
Walter McCarty, who else?
Rod Rose.
Tony
Delp. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Coach let him do his thing then. You know what I'm saying? He come down inside out, crossover. You know, MASH was smooth with that thing now. MASH was smooth with that thing, boy. And he had touch. You know, I remember he couldn't make a 3, and he kept shooting. And Coach like, man, look, man, I'm going to stop letting you take 3s, man, unless you start making them. MASH looked at Coach and said, I'm going to start making them because I ain't going to stop taking them. And he started making them. Man.
Wow.
He started making them. But that group, man, was MASH and G, Jamel Martinez, Andre Riddick. Those are our bigs. Mino Timberlake. And, I mean, we was thin. We weren't like we was big dudes. You know, we ain't had that.
Right. And I tell people, you know, I was blessed to have someone like you around because coming into Kentucky, you know, it's definitely not an easy place to play.
Right.
But to have someone like you who had already been through it as a player, because that mattered, like you playing.
Right.
If it was someone else, and it had probably been other people who didn't play for Kentucky, telling me, but coming from you was different because I knew you had already just went through it. And
I'm gonna tell you when I knew you had it. We were playing pickup your freshman year, and I bumped you, and you shot me an elbow like you went back and down, and you bulked up, and I was like, yeah, I like this one here. Hey, and I've never told you this. I went back and told Coach that incident right there, and I praised you so much because you stayed to your goals, and you always stay true, and you didn't back down. And I try you every now and then. You know what I'm saying? And you just, and then when you got stronger that next year, boy, after that weight room, what that I can do with you then? I'm running away from the bumps now. I'm running away from the bumps, Wade. I'm running away from the bumps, man. But you just kept coming. You weren't gonna let me. You had something to prove, and I loved that. And you didn't back down. And what you did was every day you tried to be the best. And you was a killer. And if your point guard ain't a killer, you have no chance. And that's why you got 3 rings. And you're the winningest player in Kentucky basketball history because you went through 3 teams. You played with 3 different, you know what I'm saying? And you still found a way to do the right things at the right time for your team, being the point guard, to not only win, but win the national championship. It ain't a lot of point guards that can say that. And there's been a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people just got one way. You dig what I'm saying? So you came in and surpassed, and without any praise, you got all your praise at the end. That's one thing about Kentucky. You may not be the guy in the midst of it. You dig what I'm saying? But at the end, when it's time to get just due, they don't miss. And you got it. And everybody knows it. You know what I'm saying? And I knew something about you. I told you when I gave you that first bump. And from then on, you was my guy. You know what I'm saying? We favored a lot because we can get to the rim. We weren't great shooters, but we were slashers and we can get in there and make plays. And we also was long and we could defend, on ball.
Right. So, and I tell, a lot of people that today is, and it's no knock to Cal, but see, I had guys like yourself who came around and played pickup with us.
Yeah.
To experience what it was like to play against someone who was more strong physically. I'm talking about in the beginning of my career.
Right.
Rex came around. Travis came around. He gave me a smaller guard to chase around on him. So right. I was getting, a little head start just by you.
Just in pickup.
Coming back.
Yeah.
Playing. And I don't know how much they do that now, but, with COVID especially knocked it off. But, I thought that was just so important for me, especially. And that's just the Kentucky tradition. Even Mash came back and played pickup with us. Kenny Sky used to always come in the gym.
Right.
Play pickup with us. So we had that luxury of pros coming back and playing with us to help us get some experience of what it's like, or what we're about to face. And, now this year, I don't know if you have saw the team this year as much, but, they're struggling with that. They're struggling, the younger guys especially are struggling with that physicality, like just having that feel for what the college game's going to be like. And I think that's why they've struggled this year. What is your take on this team? If
I've seen them a couple times. 2 things. Not a strong point guard, and not enough shooting. You know, the name of the game is putting the ball in the basket, and every good team has 3-point shooters, and they struggle scoring points. I think that's a big deal. Coach Cal's always had a dominating point guard of some sort, you know what I'm saying? Whether he was a combo or not, but he had a guy that can go make something happen for him. He doesn't have that on this team, from what I've seen. You know what I'm saying? I think they play hard for him. I think he's getting everything out of them. And two, you got to understand too, man, when you don't have a summer, you don't have a preseason, he don't really get to coach them. You know what I'm saying? These are young kids. Now, I don't care how talented they are, but they got to learn how to play the college game together, collectively. And he hasn't had that much time to do that. You know what I'm saying? And most of these teams in the SEC, they got veteran players. You know, and then the games that he lost, you know, those kids just don't know how to win. You know what I'm saying? It's not that he lost to this school here or this school there. That school has more college basketball players, you know, veteran college basketball players than he does. So they're supposed to have something up on them. But you could tell right now that when you're taking, and it goes for me too, when you're taking out of your routine, you know, as a coach, you got a timeline, okay? This is what I'm trying to get done when they first come back. This is what I'm trying to get done, you know what I'm saying, July. This is what I'm trying to get done before they leave and they come back. So now, by the time season start, we already got a lot of things in, you know what I'm saying? We know the routine by the time, you know what I mean? Well, there's no routine. They're still learning right now. You know, so, and he's got, and now you having certain expectations when it's unfair that they ain't been through the grind yet. So that's why they're not mentally tough. You know, they ain't been on the track. They ain't been through a rigorous preseason conditioning because they couldn't. It was COVID. Everything you're doing is just on the court. You ain't had no burn. You ain't going to no exhaustion. You know, ain't no mental break. You know what I'm saying? None of that. My team's like that too. And I was picked, you know what I'm saying? I had the most experience coming back, but I lost 7 out of my last 8. And we're still a game or 2 out of first place. But it was a grind getting these newer guys. Now I got to play them because all the older guys that I was expecting to play, you know, and it ain't coming like you want to sometimes. And that's where they are. And he's too new. Duke is too new. You know what I'm saying? And it's not nobody's fault. It's just the situation. And Kentucky's never been this bad, but COVID has made them this bad. I don't think it's discredit to Cal, you know, and then too, you got the psychic going on, man. These kids, you have no idea what's going on with these kids nowadays, man, with this deal. That's what people aren't talking about. There's the psychic with these kids. You know, they don't know what it's like. You know, if we got to quarantine, we go home to our family. They quarantine, they got to sit in their room and stare at the walls for 14 days and can't come out. And then they come out and you expect them to be on point. They ain't in no shape. That's why a lot of injuries, you know, like for me. And you can't push them as hard as you want because they're not in shape. So it's a struggle. And guess who's winning right now? The teams that got veterans, the Iowas, all them teams in the Big Ten. You know what I'm saying? Texas is good. They still got their nucleus back. All them kids that grew up together. You know, Baylor, they got their whole, they've been brewing with this for a minute. Gonzaga, been brewing, you know what I'm saying? Veterans. Michigan State trying to find themselves, brand new team almost. You know, that's what happens with these dudes, man. Now you come this time next year, talk to me then. And that's what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Now things back to normal. This ain't normal. This ain't normal, man.
Right. No, I definitely, it definitely ain't normal for sure. And it's been going on for a long time. And, you know, I'm just happy that college basketball is actually playing. You know,
no doubt about it. But people don't understand what's behind the scenes, all the testing that you got to do. You know, the social distance, the rules and regulations, it's uncomfortable. And at the beginning of the year, I told my guys, we got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable nowadays. And that not just with our team, but in life, period. We weren't born, we weren't raised up knowing that this was coming like this. So it's life and death. You know what I'm saying? People are dying from this. People that I know, probably people that so this is for real, man. And you dealing with kids, and especially with you coaching high school now, and you at risk because you don't know when they go home who their parents been exposed to, so on and so forth, and they coming back, you know what I'm saying? But you're doing something that you love and you forget about it, you know what I'm saying? And you just stay prayed up and keep your faith. But every day you go outside, it's a risk now. Not I got to talk to my guys all the time, because in our league, now that the conference tournament getting ready to start up, one positive test on your team's done, disqualified for the whole tournament. You're done.
Wow. That's tough.
So, now you got to monitor 18 to 22-year-olds, you know what I'm saying? And they've been good for the most part, but still,
Exactly. They're young. And I hope it boils over soon. But moving forward, I know you've been in the coaching game for a while, and I've watched you, go from assistant head coach to assistant back to head coach. You was at Morehead, that boiled over, moved on, and now you're a head coach again. I saw you was at Stetson for a little bit. Now you moved on, and you're back in that chair again. What would you do? What are you doing differently, or what have you done differently from when you first became a head coach?
Wayne, it took me forever to realize that kids are different now. They're not me and you. You know what I'm saying? Things that motivated me and you don't motivate them. Constructive criticism is almost a bad thing if not said the right way. And I'm enjoying the ride now. Back then, I was just grinding, trying to prove myself, you know what I'm saying, that I'm worthy of being a head coach. I'm good at this, blah, 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 blah. And now I know I'm pretty good. So I just do me, you know what I mean, and enjoy it. I enjoy wins now, instead of after a win or whatever, I'm looking towards the next one. You know what I mean? I was like razor. And I can only imagine being around a person like that can be tough. You know what I'm saying? I only knew how I was coached. Not to say I was trying to be like Coach. I just knew that's how it had to get done. You know what I'm saying? One, you're not gonna let nobody outwork you. Two, you gonna push guys to the limit. You know what I'm saying? Three, you holding them accountable for every little thing. And that's one thing you got to change, because they can't take you holding them accountable for every little thing. And being at ease, you know what I'm saying? Everything doesn't have to be a confrontation or, all the time, but that was all because I was trying to get it. And now I enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? I'm more sarcastic, but I do it in a different way now and still get my deal going. Instead of me yelling and screaming all the time, I just put them on the line and run. But it's been fun now, man. I'm actually enjoying it. My son, he got hurt this year, but he was playing for me for the first time. He was a freshman with us. And but I'm having fun now, Wayne. You know what I'm saying? I love it. You know, I'm a student of it still. But I've watched and I've learned, and we've been blessed to be around some of the greatest that's ever do it. You know, just my first year with Coach. Well, first of all, playing with Eddie Sutton, Dwayne Casey, who's the head coach of the Detroit Pistons now. That's who brought me to Kentucky. Okay, and it started with Leonard Hamilton. Then when it was time for Sean Kemp to come, he took the Oklahoma State job. So then you move with Coach. You got Coach, Ralph Willard, Tubby Smith, Billy Donovan, Herb Sendek, you know, and Billy Donovan was a graduate my first year, you know, and just, you know how structured Coach is, you know, he's real organized. And that gets you, that separates you from a lot right there. You know what I'm saying? Just being organized. And, you know, and Coach's thing is, you know, it's organized chaos. You know, he gonna push you, muddy up the game, but he knows what he's doing. And it's, you know what you're doing. You know, you organize in the press. You know what I'm saying? You ain't just running around. You know exactly where the trap coming from. You know exactly where that rotation's supposed to be. And if you ain't there, he calling you out.
It ain't a speed dribble.
That's right. Get in it, Wayne. Get up in it, Wayne. Yeah. So that's what I got. And it's worked for me. You know what I'm saying? It's and then learning how to and sticking to detail, you know what I'm saying? Really taking teams out of their stuff, you know what I mean? So that's what I took from him. And a lot of people surprised if you come watch my practices or sit in film session, you'll be like, man, I didn't know he's down like that. But that's all I know. You know, I was intimidated at first. They wanted me to coach right out of college, but I wanted to go play. But I was intimidated because I didn't think I was smart enough.
Oh, wow.
But I was watching Billy and them break stuff down and, you know, write their scouting reports. You know how precise they were with them scouting reports and all that, man. I was like, oh, man, I ain't ready for this. You know what I'm saying? And then coach gonna call you out if you don't know. I was done with getting called out. You know what I'm saying? I was done being called out by coach. I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna pass on this for a minute. And then I got in, you know, I went off to Lexington Catholic where my oldest son won a state championship. And the head coach asked me, did I want to go to Florida with him to a prep school? And I thought about it. I was like, man. And God just told me, do it. This is your chance. I went out there for a year. Next thing you know, I was assistant coach at High Point University. And was there 2 years. Went to Texas A&M Corpus Christi for a year. And I left there, went to TCU, assistant there for 2 years. And just by the grace of God, man, somebody just shined down on me. I got the Mississippi Valley job. Scared to death, never been a head coach a day in my life. But I had enough confidence in myself, but I'm scared, man. I'm talking about I'm scared to do a practice plan. I'm scared, you know what I'm saying? So I humbled myself. I called the guy who I used to work for, two guys I used to work for, Ronnie Arrow at Texas A&M Corpus Christi and Neil Doherty, who I worked for at TCU, who used to be assistant under Eddie Fogler at Vanderbilt in South Carolina, and then also under Roy Williams at Kansas. So I knew the Carolina way, you know what I'm saying, the organized deal. So I mixed that in with coaches and them deals. So I got best of both worlds, you know, and it's helped. And I would call him every night, man, and he would school me through everything. I mean, we'd be up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, just teaching me how to do a practice plan. And then he had to explain to me some of the deals, you know what I mean? And there wasn't no Zoom calls, wasn't no video calls then. Then I got to use my imagination to do this, not knowing if I'm going to practice even doing it right. But by God, that press offense that they ran, I got that down. Once I got that down, I was good. My first game was against Oklahoma, and what's my man, Blake Griffin. That was my first game coaching.
Wow.
And at halftime, I'm only down 8. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I looked at my guy. I was like, shit, I can do this. You know what I mean? As long as I can keep these dudes motivated, I'm good.
Right.
It's worked for me ever since.
Yeah, no, I definitely see you on the sidelines. I'm glad you're back in the chair, man. I'm rooting for you. It's funny. I was telling someone, when I was when we was going to get up before we got on, that one of my first AAU national tournaments was in Baton Rouge. That's where you are.
Yeah.
And we stayed at Southern University, which is great.
What?
We stayed in the dorms
Wow.
Totally different now. But I remember that was the first time I had ever been to Louisiana. And man, hey, I'm telling you like this, the food was amazing. I know that food is good down there.
Hey, I be tearing them crawfish that way, and it's crawfish season again. It's just starting. Yes, sir. Crawfish, gumbo, crawfish balls, crabfish ball. Yeah.
I saw you was at Southern. That's the first thing that clicked in my mind.
Man, the food is great down here. It's great down here.
Just a couple more questions, bro. Who was the best player you played with, but then the most popular player at Kentucky that you played with?
The best player I ever played with is unanimously Jamal Mashburn, which I think is probably the best player, pound for pound, best player to play at Kentucky. What was the other question?
The most popular.
The most Richie Farmer, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Is Richie gonna play tonight? Is Richie gonna start tonight? And Wayne, the whole Commonwealth wanted Richie to start over me. So I couldn't take a day off, and I had to make Richie know he had no chance. You know what I'm saying? I had to convince Richie. So if anything came about, no, Sean's better, man. Wait, every day. And Coach got every night on Coach's radio show. Is Richie gonna play tonight? Is Richie gonna start tonight? Every day. And that's my best friend. That's my dog. But yeah, every day, man. Every day he was by far. I mean, he's probably the most popular person in the state.
Wow.
Not just most popular person on our team. Most popular person in the state.
Wow. Yeah, no, I believe it.
And you're talking about a guy that's probably had the most historical high school career in the state of Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, he can shoot. He can shoot.
And he was better than what he looked too. Like he was strong. You think you could get up in him and he'll turn it over, but he could put you on his hip. He was more athletic than you think. Now Rich could dunk too now. He could put you on his hip, you know. He wasn't a great defender though, you know what I'm saying? That one, but offensively, I mean, you gotta remember now he's the state of Kentucky's all-time leading scorer. High school. Yeah.
Still.
So he could score that ball now.
Wow.
And he had some nights where he got 22, 23. I mean, he had some nights like that at UK.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, bro, I ain't gonna hold you too much longer. I got one more question for you because there was a rumor floating around. They said in one game you shot the ball in the wrong hoop, bro. Is that true?
No. See, they got the story wrong. I shot a 2-pointer instead of a 3-pointer. We needed a 3. We had Mississippi State, Wayne, and they up 3. And coach calls a timeout and, run power, which is fish. You know what I'm saying? High pick and roll.
I only play.
No, I only play. There you go. There you go, Wayne. There you go.
I remember you telling me that's it. All fails, go power.
Go power. That's right. Hey, we run thumb up. I run thumb up, hold it just so I can run power. And I love playing at Vanderbilt, being down on the other end because I couldn't hear what he was saying. So I'm running power every time. When he calls timeout, he's MFing me, giving me the business because I done ran power about 6-7 times. But anyway, we called timeout and play was, of course, me, power, come off and hit somebody, draw somebody and kick for a 3, right? Wayne, I'm telling you, I have never loped out in a game before in my life. But this particular time, I don't know why. I just loped out. And I came off the high pick and roll, off power. Everybody stayed at home. I laid that thing up so put my hands up. Reggie Hansen comes up to me, man. He goes, Woody, we needed a 3. I woke up. Somehow, Coach Pitino got the ball, and he wanted to throw that thing at me. We playing at the hump now. So as we go into the locker room, boy, I'm like, I don't throw this to you. I don't throw this, trying to be a hero. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be a hero. Oh, Wayne. I ain't never been so embarrassed, man. It felt so low in my life.
Wow.
Yeah, man, that's what happened. Now, I ain't shoot the wrong goal. I shot a 2-pointer instead of a 3. And then celebrated, Wayne.
Right.
Put my arms up.
I thought it was over. Man.
Oh, my God.
You just seen that ocean open up.
Ooh-wee.
You know what it's like when we see that ocean open up?
Yes, sir, everybody.
We departing the sea.
Yes, sir.
No, I appreciate you coming on, bro. Definitely good to have you on, man. Good to see you. I wish you all the best of the luck for the rest of the season, man. Stay safe. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you. I'm happy, you're back in that chair. I know you're going to do great things. I know you're inspiring, kids just like you did with me. You know what I mean? You probably don't know how much you inspired and encouraged me and influenced me to be the best I could be. And hearing that coming from you, you a Kentucky great, I encourage a lot of the guys who's come through and passed by to come back, man, and help, support the guys like I was supported by yourself and, all the other guys. And I really, really appreciate that. I never got a chance to tell you that, but I'm telling you now, man, you definitely put a different fire up under me, and I appreciate you even because you didn't have to do that, but you took the time out. I would be walking to Memorial and see you, and you would stop me and say, "Hey, man, come on, man, you better than that. Play your game." And from that, I remember those talks, and it always stuck with me when I went to the game, and I appreciate you for that, bro.
Well, man, you took the torch, and like I said before, nobody can say they've done it better than you. And every point guard is judged on his success. And if we go by that, you got to be sitting on top of Mount Rushmore right now of all the PGs that's going through. So I don't know if anybody's ever put it in that perspective, but, Kentucky's always had a great tradition of point guards, and you judge by winning. And you've won more than any point guard that's played at the University of Kentucky. And if it's up to me, number 5 sits up at the top, with number 11 looking dead up on him, just knowing that I had a hand in pushing you up there. So you keep doing what you're doing, man. And we just a phone call away. And I told you before, now that we getting older, man, we need to stay in touch more often. So I'll be up there. Once the Final Four is over with, I'm coming to see some family up there, man, so we'll definitely get together.
Definitely, and I appreciate you coming on. Thanks to everybody who tuned in to the Burner Turner Show. Make sure you like, subscribe to the Burner Turner Show in the Field of 68. There you have it, Sean Woods, UK Hall of Famer. I appreciate you, bro.
No doubt, Wayne.